Hi, this is Regina Favors, and I want to discuss, I want to conduct a film analysis using the theme of Setback and Pressed, which was done in 2011, is one of those movies that I want to begin my series. So, you know that I have a book, Overcoming Setback, 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction, which will be available August 2021. And I've been taking excerpts and passages from the book and creating PowerPoint audio lessons. And those lessons are uploaded to YouTube as well as my IG, Regina Favors. So now I want to get into looking at the theme of setback in certain types of films and exploring the concept. And in this particular film, Pressed, I want to look at how setback affects character development. We have the character, the actor playing a character, and then we have the writer and director sort of developing the character throughout the movie. Now, this particular audio lesson does not include video uploads, and that is simply because of copyright infringement. I don't want to be accused, and YouTube tends to sort of shut down those videos, so I don't want to have any issues. But I do look at a frame by frame and conduct a frame by frame analysis of the film. So this is theme of setback and Pressed, understanding how setback affects character development. This is part of my Overcoming Setback series. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you are interested in further videos. Thank you for listening. So this is subject to fair use, even though I'm not using videos. I am teaching, however, or that's the goal. And so this is still subject to fair use. All right, so here's a quick plot summary of Pressed. Pressed centers on Brian Parker. Luke Goss is the main character, and if you know Luke Goss, he has played a character in Blade 2, Hellboy 2, Death Race 2, and One Night with the King, who seeks a quick fix out of his current financial situation, having been laid off from his job as director of sales. To hedge against losing everything, including his family, and using flashbacks that reveal some of his own psychological trauma dealing with financial bankruptcy, Brian engages in an investment scheme, investing all his savings into a short-term drug deal that would allow him to maintain his high-end lifestyle. Pressed also explores 2 teenagers who are skilled at stealing cars and who also intercept the drug deal, finding Brian's investment in the back of the car they have jacked. The deal is botched, and Brian finds himself in a desperate situation to recover the missing money. The narrative shifts back and forth between Brian and the teenagers, who later discover that they have stolen money from the wrong people. All their lives are at stake, feeling pressed because of parallel decisions, and what follows reveals multiple character levels as well as greed, deceit, murder, and wealth. And that's the problems of wealth. At the end of Pressed, Brian is forced to make a life-changing decision that affects him, the teenagers, and his family. So that's your plot summary, and you can find variations of that plot summary all on the internet, but that gives you some insight into the purpose of the movie. So your learning objectives, by the end of this film analysis, you will be able to do the following. Summarize the plot. So you should be able to summarize what the movie is about. Recall how the narrative shifts between characters. So there's the narrative of Brian Parker and his issues, and then the narratives of each of the two teens. And then you sort of have the drug dealer hiding in the background, that particular narrative. Analyze the major characters, create a film analysis, and then define how the theme of setback is explored within the analysis. So how I'm defining setback. The the director, as well as the main character, is not exploring setback. They are living setback. And so I'm actually applying setback as a film analysis tool. So therefore, um, you should be able to apply the 7 stages of setback. And this comes from my book, Overcoming Setback, 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction. And so I came up with these 7 stages: missed opportunity, punishment, pain, correction, recovery, restoration, and advance. And I go into more detail once I finish the film analysis. But basically, missed opportunity is essentially missing or missing that turn in life that usually requires you obeying an instruction or heeding a warning. And so you missed that opportunity. Punishment results from that. Then you feel the pain of it. And then you have to go through a correction process because you missed that opportunity. I mean, if you think about it like this, if you failed a class, which is sort of like a missed opportunity, then the punishment would be you have to retake that class, that course, and the pain of it is having to retake that course along with new courses you still have to take. So the process of having to learn everything that you were supposed to learn in a previous course again, right? The correction is taking it step by step. So say, for instance, if it was math and you failed a math course, whatever you didn't do in the previous course, you are forced now to take math seriously and take it step by step. So if the instructor tells you to show your work, you have to show your work for every problem. So that begins your correction process. Then you recover because you have been corrected. You are restored. That means you are doing much, much better. And then you advance. That means you have succeeded out of that course. You don't have to take it again. You can move forward in the things that you want to do, or of course, or with the next courses and so on. So you should be able, by the end of this particular film analysis, apply the 7 stages of setback. So the narrative structure, I perceive it to be 3 plots. So there's Brian's setback, then the 2 teens setback, and then the drug dealer's setback. So Brian's setback is obvious because he loses his job. He now has to try to make up the money that he no longer has. So he dips into his financial portfolio, and then he gives that money over to a drug dealer who says that he can triple his money on a drug deal. And then that decision creates such a domino effect of feeling pressed because you no longer have that money. You got the threat of your family leaving, etc. The 2 teens setback, one of the teens wants to leave and go on to a better life, and because he is tired of his condition, but he's also the main one who always steals cars, jacks cars. And then the other team is sort of like the logical person who tells him that he can't do this anymore. But then his narrative shifts, and he actually encourages the one who does all of the jacking of cars all the time. He now wants to jack a car, and we'll get into it. So hopefully you weren't confused there. But they each have their own narrative, and they have their narrative together. And because they get themselves into things, it creates a setback for them that leads to consequences, of course. And then the drug dealer setback is that sort of hidden narrative. It's almost like a subplot. And that setback really begins with Brian reconnecting with a person from the old neighborhood or something like that, who gets him into the deal. And so the guy is sort of beholden to the drug dealer that he was going to give the money for investment. Well, when the kids decide to jack that car that had the money, that created a setback, not only for that drug dealer that Brian knew, but also the drug dealer that he was supposed to give the money to. So that's why I feel like these are three different plots, but they all sort of collide at the end. So this is Analyzing Pressed, using setback as a theme.